Mark Meckler is a conservative activist, president of Citizens for Self-Governance. Mark, welcome back to the show, man. How are you this morning?
I'm really good. It's great to be with you.
Yeah, great to have you, too, because I'm trying to break down everything that's going on. Now, you were leader in the Tea Party movement, Mark, and we saw the IRS under President Obama go out of their way to go after Tea Party groups and other conservative groups. Do you think that we're seeing the same sort of selective prosecution with some of the investigators in this Mueller probe?
I do, and this is really interesting, and I'm glad you connected those things because in the IRS scandal, everybody thought the scandal was the thing. And one of the things I said throughout is the scandal is just a symptom. This disease is deep within the federal government. We've now come to call it the deep state. And yeah, I think the two things are absolutely related.
It's scary, man. Where do you see the Mueller probe going, Mark?
Well, personally, what I hope happens is I hope that the whole thing just blows up and gets shut down. And it's not that I don't think things like this deserve to be investigated. When people have questions about the propriety of things that our government are doing or candidates do, we have the right to know those things. It's just the bias with which it's being conducted makes it literally impossible to get at anything resembling the truth.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. I'm trying to break it down. Frankie Five Burrows and I, our producer, was trying to break it down, and I'm just trying to see how they're going. And then you see all the different, like, for example, Mueller himself head of the FBI during this Uranium One situation, and wouldn't it be nice if Jeff Sessions said, well, now we're going to look into that deal and why Mueller did nothing with the Clintons at that time? I mean, that would make sense, correct?
It would make sense, but here's the fundamental problem, Joe. And again, we're now calling this the deep state. We've heard that term used over and over.
Yeah.
You get a new president takes over, the administration takes over, and theoretically, these are branches of the executive, the FBI, the DOJ. They work directly for the president. They're supposed to be loyal to the president.
Yeah.
And we don't have that anymore. What we have is a government that continues to operate independent of the administration. It's not in support of the administration. That's a sickness that can destroy the republic.
I know. And don't you think they're going after the president, Mark Meckler, because indeed he's not even acknowledging the deep state. Bill Clinton, and I told the story before where Dick Morris told us once where Dick Morris told Clinton, President Clinton at the time, well, this guy in the intelligence community, and Clinton says, well, you better do what he says regarding that person in the intelligence community. The president is fighting this deep state, and that's why they're going after him, right?
I think it's because he's fighting the deep state. I think it goes even deeper than that, Joe. We don't read this in the mainstream media, but if you have at all conservative values, if you believe in limited government, frankly, the president is doing far better and doing far more than I ever anticipated he would do. So he is literally working hard to gut the administrative state. He's doing a good job, as much as he's being allowed to do. And so, yeah, I think the beast is fighting back.
Yeah, and now yesterday we saw the news that John Conyers, the longest-serving member of Congress, is going to be resigning amidst those sexual harassment allegations. Mark, should Al Franken step down as well, do you think, Mark Meckler?
Personally, at this point, I think he should. There's this weird double standard that goes on, which is if anybody on the right does anything like this, they're asked to step down, they're immediately asked to leave. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Look, I am actually in favor of the way this whole sexual harassment scandal is blowing open. The idea that this has been going on for so long in the shadows, it's time to blow this thing wide open. And the guys who are representative of it, they need to go. We need a clean start.
Yeah. Now Congress, we're doing these sexual harassment payments. How do we not know? Or is there a way? Maybe you know, Mark, being the conservative activist that you are. Can we go to a website and see how our money is spent in regards to these sexual harassment payouts?
We can't. And to me, this is one of the most unbelievable things in our government. And this is where the government has gone completely wrong. They work for us. Right? We own the government. This is a unique situation. Most Americans don't realize this. The idea that we are sovereign, that we're in charge, that we're the bosses, we're in control, it doesn't work that way in other countries. And it's not working that way here right now, and it should be.
Wow, man. Give us your view of the tax reform bill, Mark.
It's a mess. That's the simplest way to put it. I think nobody really understands it. Everybody admits they haven't read it. I think the part about it that I like is I think it will lead to some job growth because I like the idea of lowering corporate taxes, repatriating trillions of dollars from abroad. I think that's inevitably going to create job growth. The frustrating part is the middle class is not getting enough relief. I think there's going to be a little bit, but I don't think it's enough.
And no help for New York and New Jersey. Is that what you're saying, man?
Well, not only that, how about California? But this is the interesting part about that. Look, we're going to lose. I'm from California. We're going to lose the ability to write off a good chunk of our property taxes and our state and local taxes. And that's a bummer for guys like me and you that live in those places. But you know what? I think it's the right thing. Our states that spend way too much money, that tax way too high, are able to essentially pass that cost on to the citizens of other states by allowing us to write off those taxes. And though it's going to cost me more in California, I'm completely in favor of losing those write-offs.
Yeah. Now, you're in New York making your push for a convention of the states. What is that exactly, and why do we need one?
So way back at the founding, the founders knew, and they told us that things were going to go haywire eventually, that exactly what we're seeing right now would be seen. In other words, the government would grow out of control. And they gave us the power in the Constitution to call a convention. The convention is a way that we can get together and propose amendments to restrain the federal government, amendments to the Constitution. It's the only way we're going to be able to restrain them. It allows us to go around Congress, around the president, around the courts, and as the people from the states act directly against the federal government. So we're working to call that convention. It takes 34 states to call it. So far, 12 states have already made the call for the convention, so we are well on our way to calling that convention.
All right, Mark Meckler, conservative activist, president of Citizens for Self-Governance. We appreciate you joining us. So keep the fight, Mark, and come back soon, my friend.
Thanks, Joe. Great to be with you.
Hey, thank you. Great to have you with us. Mark Meckler right there.
Sign the petition at cosaction.com and get as many of your friends and family to do the same. With your full address, your state legislators will know that you really are their constituents in their district. Our success depends on you, so we're inviting you to be part of history. Let's invoke the constitutional solution that's as big as the problem.